Shalom. This Shabbat, our weekly Torah reading cycle begins the fourth book of Torah, Sefer Bamidbar, the book of Numbers. And our first portion this week is Parashat Bamidbar. It begins with God commanding Moses to take a census of the children of Israel, tribe by tribe, and to organize the nation into formations according to their camps. But the secret is that this isn't simply about numbers. The counting of the Israelites here in our Parsha represents a spiritual counting, a reckoning of the souls of Israel. Each person is unique, and each person has a specific role to play in the divine plan. So this census is not just a matter of numbers, but a recognition of the individuality and importance of every single person. But why do we encounter this census exactly right now, and why this week? As it happens, this week, our portion is generally read in close proximity to Rosh Chodesh, to the new month of Sivan, which of course is only a few days before the upcoming Festival of Shavuot, the time of the giving of the Torah at Mount Sinai. Shavuot is a very special holiday, the day of the giving of the Torah at Mount Sinai. The Torah is the foundation of our faith and the source of all wisdom and knowledge, and it enables us to connect with Hashem and fulfill our purpose in this world. By observing its commandments, we're able to bring holiness into our lives. So the timing of this parsha is certainly no coincidence, and the idea of this census, as well as other concepts in our parsha, represent connections of great spiritual significance between this portion of Bamidbar and its relevance to the upcoming holiday of Shavuot. The Holy Baal Shem Tov, whose teachings always emphasize the importance of studying Torah with joy and enthusiasm, and of connecting to the divine through prayer and meditation, he teaches that this counting that we're reading about here in our portion, this census, is a preparation for the giving of the Torah at Mount Sinai. The Torah is not simply a set of laws and commandments, but a blueprint for the spiritual journey of every person. Each person has their own unique path to follow, but the Torah provides the guidance and the direction that each individual soul needs to stay on course. So open up your heart. Every person has a unique role to play in the world. Each tribe of Israel was counted separately, and each person was counted individually as well, because every person is important and valuable in their own way. Through this process of counting, each person was elevated to a higher level of consciousness and was able to connect more deeply with God. This idea is actually reflected in the Midrash, which teaches that when God gave the Torah to the Israelites, He didn't speak to them as a group, but rather as individuals. And open up your heart, because this is the most amazing concept. There were millions of people standing at Mount Sinai, and in point of fact, we are taught that our own souls were there as well, and each person heard the voice of God according to their own level of understanding and spiritual capacity. The Torah was not given to a faceless mass of people, but to each and every person according to their own unique identity and mission. And within the framework of Torah, each person has their own calling, their own individual path to follow, and each person is called upon to serve God in their own special and inimitable way, playing, as it were, their own note in the orchestra, fulfilling their mission in this world, expressing their individuality through Torah, which at once is all-inclusive, yet at the same time, it's an intensely personal experience to serve God. Yet while in truth, Torah is a gift to each individual, that's true, but another key theme of Shavuot is the idea of unity. So when the Jewish people stood at Mount Sinai to receive the Torah, they were united as one people with one heart. Although each tribe and individual were counted separately, their unity was an essential prerequisite for the giving of the Torah. And it's something that we strive to emulate in our own lives, that is, working together to achieve our goals and together to make the world into a better place. So this dichotomy of the unity of the whole and the individual is beautifully illustrated by the concept of the banners. A striking feature of the desert encampment of the tribes of Israel that we're learning about in our portion is that each tribe of the children of Israel had its own banner or individual flag. And on the one hand, these flags represented the different attributes and unique spiritual qualities of each tribe that were necessary in order for the Jewish people to receive the Torah. According to the Midrash, each flag was adorned with a unique symbol that represented the qualities of the tribe. For example, the flag of Judah had a lion on it, representing the tribe's strength and leadership, while, for example, the tribe of Reuven The flag of Reuven represents the quality of repentance. So the flag of each tribe was a sign of its unique role to play in the mission of bringing God's light into the world, and their different respective spiritual paths would all lead together to the revelation of Torah. But these flags were also a sign of unity, because by uniting together under these different flags, the people of Israel were able to overcome their individual differences and work together towards a common goal, which was receiving the Torah at Mount Sinai. And all the tribes forged together to form the nation, arranged in a very specific divinely ordained order around the tabernacle to represent this process of unification. Like the four directions of the compass, the order of the encampment around the tabernacle under their flags created a sort of spiritual map that reflected the different paths that lead to the revelation of Torah, and by following these paths, the nation, in all of the intricacies of their tribes, were able to prepare themselves for the great moment of revelation at Mount Sinai. And the tabernacle was where God's presence in the world was manifest. And so the encampment of the Israelites around it represents the unification of all the aspects of creation together with God. Now, in this light, the Baal Shem Tov taught that the 12 tribes of Israel represent 12 different qualities or attributes that each person possesses, every individual. These qualities fall into three groups: intellect, emotion, and action. So the first four tribes of Judah, Issachar, Zvulun, and Ruvain represent the intellectual qualities. The next four tribes of Shimon, Gad, Ephraim, and Manasseh represent the emotional qualities. And the final four tribes of Benjamin, Dan, Asher, and Naphtali represent action-oriented qualities. That holy master, the Baal Shem Tov, emphasized that each person has a unique combination of these 12 qualities, all of us, and that it's through understanding and developing these qualities that a person can fulfill their purpose in life. But open up your heart in the deepest way. The deepest understanding is that every soul was present at the Sinai revelation, because the giving of the Torah was not just some historical event, but a cosmic event that occurred on a spiritual level. And all the souls, past, present, and future, and not only the souls of those who physically stood at the foot of the mountain, but all the souls were present at Sinai in a spiritual sense and received the Torah directly from God. But it's far deeper still if we understand that it's happening not then, but now. The Hebrew calendar reveals that time is not a linear progression, but rather a cyclical process. And this is the secret of the lunar cycle, that each new moon brings with it a new opportunity for spiritual renewal and growth. And the holiday cycle itself, which really includes the weekly reading of the Torah portion, the annual cycle of the festivals, this serves to bring us back to the original core revelation at Sinai and provides for us an opportunity for connection with the divine. The Sinai revelation and the giving of the Torah is happening each year, brand new, for the first time in every generation. So the revelation at Sinai was not a one-time event, but it's an ongoing process that continues to this day. Each generation is given the opportunity to re-experience the revelation and to receive the Torah anew for the first time. This perspective makes all the difference in the world to those who are truly seeking to deepen their understanding and love of Torah and to deepen their relationship with the Creator. If we truly understand that the giving of the Torah is not a one-time historical event, but a recurring phenomenon, we can be there now. We can get it right, because the perpetuity of the Sinai revelation means that spiritual renewal and growth are available to us at all times. Each time we study Torah and attempt to sincerely connect with God, we receive divine wisdom and insight. And regardless of background or level of knowledge, we are experiencing a flash, a shining of that original revelation at Sinai. Torah itself is eternal and unchanging, but each individual's understanding and interpretation of it can constantly evolve and grow and deepen with the re-experience and giving of the Torah anew in each generation. And this personal connection with God is a conduit through which we can truly experience the perpetuity of the Sinai revelation. The Holy Baal Shem Tov also stresses this idea that Torah is not just an intellectual pursuit, but a means of connecting to the spark of God within us and of elevating our souls to a higher level of consciousness. As opposed to viewing the nature of Torah as being a set of laws and commandments only, he taught his students that Torah is a living, breathing entity that is constantly revealing new insights and wisdom. This is why the Torah is so often compared to a tree, with its roots firmly planted in the past, but its branches reaching towards the future. This idea actually is reflected in a beautiful midrashic statement that every question that would ever be posed by every student to his teacher until the end of time was already asked and answered at Mount Sinai. But open up your heart deeper still. One of the most compelling aspects of the giving of the Torah was God's choice, as it were, of the Midbar, the desert wilderness, as the location for this gifting. As the verse in Numbers chapter 21 and verse 18 alludes, Torah is a gift from the wilderness. The name of this book and this week's Parsha, Bamidbar, means in the wilderness. The wilderness is a place of emptiness and desolation, and there's no life there, and there's no sustenance for life. But it's precisely in this barren and empty place that the Israelites received the Torah, and they were tasked there with becoming a holy nation. The desert represents a time of spiritual preparation, of being stripped of our ego and forced to confront our own limitations and weaknesses and rely solely on God. And in the desert, the Israelites had to rely on God for their food and water, and they had to trust Him that He would lead them to safety. And so too, in our own lives, we often have to go through difficult times and we feel lost and alone, and we have to rely on God to guide us through. So the wilderness is also representative of the spiritual journey of every single one of us. It's a metaphor for the challenges and the obstacles and the difficulties that we all face in life, doubts and fears that can hold us back from fulfilling our potential. The children of Israel had to learn to trust in God and to rely on His guidance and protection, even in the midst of the unknown and the unpredictable. And it's difficult not to be in control of our own destiny, but every person needs to trust in God and to have faith in His plan for us, even when we can't see the way ahead. And it's only by learning to navigate the wilderness of our own lives, to overcome our fears and doubts, that we'll be able, each of us, also to fulfill our unique mission in this world. But if you could please open up your heart deeper than ever before in your life, the desert wilderness is not just about testing and hardship, because this is the place that God chose for the gifting, the optimal conditions, as it were, in God's opinion, for acquiring Torah. It's a place, it's a headspace, it's an attitude that's all about great spiritual growth and revelation. It's when we find ourselves in our own wilderness that we learn to connect with God in a deeper way and trust Him to guide us through. As each of us go through our own personal desert, we have the opportunity to forge this deeper connection and to discover new aspects of our own potential that await us on the other side of the wilderness. On the level of the secrets of the Torah, the desert represents the state of katnut. It's the spiritual smallness known as constricted consciousness. This is a state in which a person feels empty and disconnected from God, unable to experience the fullness of spiritual life. However, it's precisely in this state of katnut, of constricted consciousness, that a person can receive the Torah and become elevated to a higher level of spiritual consciousness. In our own lives, we may sometimes feel empty or disconnected from God, but it's exactly in these moments of smallness, when we feel that we're far away from God, that we have the potential to receive the Torah and to become elevated to a higher level of consciousness. Through the nullification of ego, we can truly connect with our unique potential and unify ourselves with God. May we all be blessed to find our guidance and direction in Torah, to realize the special role that we play in the divine plan, and to fulfill our mission in this world. Thank you for watching this week's Jerusalem Lights weekly Torah portion, and thank you for being a part of the Jerusalem Lights community. May we all merit to connect to the divine spark within us, to elevate our souls to a higher level of consciousness, to fulfill our unique mission in this world with joy. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach, special blessings of Torah joy for the upcoming Festival of Shavuot.